Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sideline Sports. We have a very special guest tonight, but first we got JB and Jake and myself. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, well.
Doing pretty well. So, our guest, Pete Weber. How are you doing tonight, Pete Weber? I could just go over everything that you've done, but first of all, just how are you doing tonight?
I'm a little down because we just got word about the death of Rene Robert, the right wing of the French Connection line, in the last hour. He was a great person to be around, so just keep that in mind. But I'm still going to take the same. I think Rene would want me to take the same lighthearted approach that he always did. So I'm going to try to abide by that.
Yeah, I've been following like some of the posts that you posted about him. So I didn't know about his condition until you had posted it recently, and it was very important in the in the sport of hockey. So that's a tragedy, and sorry to hear that someone that's so close to you.
Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
So, condolences to you and obviously his family and anybody that was close to him.
And the people of Western New York, believe you me, are shedding tears right now.
I'm sure. So, on a lighter note, though, note.
Yes. So we have Pete Weber, the voice of the Nashville Predators. You also you've been covering the Buffalo Bills for a very long time. You're a big Buffalo Bills person yourself.
I go back
correct?
to O.J. Simpson. Yes, we won't talk about that, but yeah.
Yeah, so he's big on the Buffalo Bills. You Sabres. I mean, you've done it all, right?
I believe that's what people like to say. I haven't done everything, but I have had multifaceted experience.
And so we're very honored to have you. Jake, would you like to start us off, obviously, with some hockey talk?
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, I was watching a lot of highlights, trying to prepare for this, and like the first thing that has come to mind that I've got to ask Pete, I got to ask your opinion, and guys, you are welcome to join in on this because I am not as just a hockey fan, but it's just someone watching the sport, just so frustrated. What is going on with this? Like, absolutely, I mean, atrocious reffing. I have a list of just a few of the bad penalties that have really just been missed, and when I say I'm upset, that's not even like a fair statement because there's so many ridiculous calls being made or not made. One that was made that really bothered me was last week, Game 2, Braden Point was shoved into Varlamov and is given a goaltender interference. I'm sorry, but what is he supposed to do? He looks down for the puck. He's going to make a move and is pushed into the goalie. I'm not sure how that is now considered goaltender interference. And then just a couple days ago, Game 3 in the Golden Knights series, Jonathan Marchessault hit Corey Perry right in the face. I understand he was going for the puck, but I mean, he took his stick and went bam, right in the face. Corey Perry bleeding on the ice. His nose is gushing blood, and they call nothing. I mean, nothing. And they see the blood on the ice after the play. I don't understand it. So I'll defer to you first, Pete. I had to ask, like, what are you seeing that's going on that maybe I'm missing because I don't understand what's going on here.
No, I don't think you're missing anything. And when it gets to the point where people are feeling sympathy for Corey Perry, that tells you a little bit about the extent to which this has deteriorated. I couldn't believe that goaltender interference call either. And if there's one thing I have learned over the last few years, that is one call that will never be black and white. It's going to be, and I don't want to say 50 Shades of Gray, but it's going to be in there somewhere in that vicinity. That was incomprehensible to me to see that called like that.
Yeah, and I didn't get that at all.
In this Vegas series now, because of the bubble they're existing in, going back and forth across the borders, I believe we're going to have the same officials. Now they have backups as well, but all the way through the conclusion of this series, whenever that may be, and we'll know a little bit more about that perhaps after tonight's game. But it has gotten to the point where now we also have to keep in mind the officials are following orders they are given from up top. And that comes really from the league's general managers and the board of governors through Stephen Walcom, the director of officiating. And whatever order was issued this time around, I think should be greatly and very carefully rethought.
I agree. So I'll defer to the other two of you, though. I don't want to just ask Pete. I want to see if you guys have any thoughts, because this is just, as Pete and I have clearly just said, I don't understand any of this.
I think, it's across all sports. If you're watching them now, the game is so much quicker. All the games, the athletes are bigger, stronger, faster, and it's become harder to be an official in any sport, even baseball with the strike zone. You see it. We talked about it last week with
don't even get me started.
Red Sox game. So I mean, it's a no-win situation for the officials, in my opinion.
But at least so far, the NHL does not have an Angel Hernandez officiating games.
Yes,
I
thankfully
agree.
not.
Tim Peel was the closest thing we had to that, I think.
Yep. I got to say this in defense of Tim, and as a human being. I had a cardiac episode in February of 2014 while on the road in Minnesota. He was the first person to call me. Showing some concern.
I'll say this in the defense of him, too. As much as I don't like to say this, everybody does it. I mean, like it doesn't necessarily make it right, but in every single sport, we all know they make makeup calls. It's just he happens to be the one guy that got caught on it.
Yes.
All right, he gets caught on it, but it
happens.
It's the nature of sports. It happens all the time, whether you like it or not.
I refer to them in our broadcast as Mary Kay calls.
Anyway, so John, now we can refer to you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's okay. So we also have to remember that these are humans, and they, as JB said, this game goes so fast that, I mean, you watch it on TV, I watch it on TV. I don't know where the puck is half the time. It's going so fast that I'm like, what just happened? And then somebody scores, and I'm like, how did that happen? Because it's so fast. Now, could you imagine in real life, guys like you, Pete, who have a hard job yourself, up in the booth calling a game, it's going so fast. Imagine being down there on the ice. You got to, see everything, every little nook and cranny, on who did this, whether it was intentional or not. There's human error involved. We can't forget that these are humans and they make mistakes, and it's going to happen. There's no way for them to be 100% accurate. It's just not
imagine doing this while calling a road game off a TV screen.
Yeah. And you're trying to call it, you're trying to communicate with the other referees, and you're in Nashville. You're the Hurricanes and you're in Nashville, and the refs are trying to hear what the other refs are saying to each other. You can't hear anything.
Good luck.
If you're in PNC Arena, good luck hearing in the playoffs. Just some examples of loud arenas.
Absolutely.
Good luck as an official trying to communicate to your other official. It's really hard.
I'll bring up this though, because I know some of these plays, it happens, you miss stuff. There was one play that I'm sure, Pete, you saw it, because I'm sure you watch every game with as close of an eye as possible. And I believe this was game 4.
Except last night's Islanders game after a few minutes.
I agree. I turned that off, trust me.
That was bad.
But I believe this was game 4 of Vegas versus Montreal. McNabb punches Suzuki right in the face in front of the ref.
In front of Chris Lee. Yeah.
I mean, look, I understand things like Corey Perry get missed. I may not like it, but that's a play I could understand at least being missed. Maybe you don't see the stick hit the face. You see the stick go up, but you don't see the face. All right, fine. You missed that. Okay, I'll give you that pass. Even though I don't like the Varlamov goaltender interference, fine. You don't see the push. You just see him go in. Fine, I'll give the pass. But the ref is here. The players are here. How do you miss that? I mean, he went right in the face, and the ref watches like this, watches them start scrapping, and then says, okay, gentlemen, now break it up. I get there's human error, but I don't know how you let that go. I mean, I can defend the other ones, even though I may not like it. This was like me and you looking at each other, Pete.
Correct.
And I punched JB in the face across the screen, right? And you say, yeah, I don't care, so what? Even though I know it's not legal. All right, cool.
Yeah. Well, that was like there was a great Kings Sabres game years ago, and as it was written up in the LA Times, that Brad May blocked a punch with his face. So that resulted in an intriguing, if we go back and find that summary, that penalty call.
So I have one more thing I really had to bring up, and John, I think Pete is the perfect person to settle this debate you and I had 2 weeks ago. No, and I think it's a fair person to bring in. So John and I had a debate, I think it was just 2 weeks ago now, and John, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This was about the Canes' second-round series against the Lightning. Which
oh my goodness gracious,
John knows. He knows right away where I'm going with this.
How this is possible.
So I'll get your opinion, Pete, and whatever you say is law. You say that's who wins, if you will. We were debating about how the fact that the Canes took out their rookie goaltender in his third game, put in Peter Mrazek, which won the game, even though I understand he gave up 2 goals just as much as the first 2 games were given up. So John made the argument that the same amount of goals per game was being given up.
Yeah.
And then he was saying how he didn't understand why Mrazek was put in game 3 and then subsequently game 4. And I said to John that I understood why. I think the logic was we're down 2-0 against the Lightning. I need to spark my team somehow. And it just happened to be Mrazek still gave up 2 goals, but they won the game. So if I'm the coach, I'm thinking I won the game. I'm going to stick with my hot hand, if you will. The guy that won me the game, right? I start him in game 4. Obviously, game 4 does not go nearly as well as game 3 did. And John was trying to say that he didn't agree with it. So, John, I'll let you say your side. I don't want to speak on your behalf, and then we'll let Pete give
and then
his
we'll
opinion.
talk about Peter DeBoer and what he did last game.
Well, like I said, the guy who has the best save percentage, the best goals against average in the league the entire year out of all goaltenders is Nedeljkovic. He has the best out of any goaltender in the entire league. You don't sit him for 2 playoff games in a row. Maybe 1. They didn't sit him at all against Nashville, against you guys.
No.
Even though you guys actually played him better than Tampa Bay did. Tampa Bay actually played him worse because you guys actually got 5 goals against Nedeljkovic, which doesn't happen. You got multiple goals against him. 3 or more goals, I believe, twice in the series. So you really had your way with him.
We were playing 5-period games. I mean,
yeah, but you played really well against him.
Yeah.
But Tampa Bay didn't. They got 2 against him in game 1. 1 a fluky goal in game 1. 2 in game 2. Didn't play game 3. Okay, you sit him in game 3. But you don't sit him in back-to-back games. And ultimately, that's what I think killed the series. Because then, obviously, Peter Mrazek gave up 6 goals. Not all his fault, but still 6 is 6. You can't debate that. And then they put him back in game 5, and the team got shut out 2-0. So there's nothing he could do there. I mean, if the team doesn't
he could have scored a couple goals.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. Yeah, I guess he could do a Martin Brodeur and score a goal. So
there you go.
Or Pecorino,
or Pecorino, yeah. So
I'll defer to you on this, Pete. What you think? I think John and I can agree. Whatever you say, we'll go. Right, John? We'll agree with that.
Well, let's go to this. Let's go to this Vegas series right now, and taking out Marc-Andre Fleury the other night and putting in now, as I understand it, Fleury's going to be back in tonight. Yep. So that's rather intriguing. After victory was registered by Robin Lehner in game number 4, they pay guys based on results. I would have a difficult time taking my faith away from Marc-Andre Fleury, particularly for a guy who got burned so badly in the first playoff game that they had against Colorado. And that was just an incredible decision. And now to go back after a guy, like you say, play the hot hand. This is, coaches, we've talked about officiating not being an easy job.
Yep.
Coaches have a very difficult job now. And I think Vegas comes as close to any team as to having a 1 and a 1A as their goaltending entry. Mrazek, I think, is going to make out okay. I can't say superbly so financially because of the flat cap as teams look for goaltending help this offseason. But that, I'm going to go with you guys, that shocked me that the decision was made to put Mrazek in as they did. I guess I'm kind of like the old baseball manager. Let's go with the venerable Earl Weaver. Dance with who brung you there.
All right. Well, I concede to John. Like I said, if what Pete says is as good as anything, so that's fair. But I do agree. I'm not sure I understand taking Leonard back out because my logic still is whoever just won you the last game, stick with your guy. If that is how you intend to coach. If you're going to take out a guy for losing and make a mistake, then I don't personally understand. And I agree with you. taking out a guy that just won you a game, and mind you, has some incredible stops in that game. I mean, he was out of this world. For a guy that hasn't really played in this playoffs, I was thoroughly impressed with how well he just right back into it. And I understand this is his job, but it can be hard when you sat out for so while to get back out like that. He was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm with you though. I think by my logic, and I would still stick with it. I don't change my logic based on the scenario. I think Fleury is the better goalie. He's got the experience. I think he's overall a better goalie. There's a reason he's up for the Vezina. I know that. But if a guy just won you the game, stick with the guy that won you the game. That's just me. So, look, if they win tonight, then I guess he says, you know what, worked out in my favor, so I don't really care. But if they lose,
I can do anything I want. Yeah,
right. But if they lose, it's going to be like, So you took out the hot hand and you lost. Care to explain that one?
No.
So I have one last question, Pete. I don't want to take too long. I know I know you want to get to the game, and I know you want to go relax. And I'm sure John and JB have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
But of the 4 teams remaining, who is your pick to win the Stanley Cup? I know it's hard. It's always hard to make the prediction, but based on what you've seen, and you have seen more hockey than any of us probably combined, who do you think has got the edge?
Yes, I saw Rene Robert play in person back in the 70s. I have the 2 sentimental favorites on either side of this bracket right now: Shea Weber with Montreal and Barry Trotz with the Islanders. But I also have a great deal of respect for what the Tampa Bay Lightning have accomplished. And they are just so darn deep. I think that series likely will go 7 because of the emotion that goes on in Uniondale. That is just a tremendous show for me. And I can't wait to see the new UBS Arena, because even after they renovated Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, I knew many of the rats in there by name from over the years. So that was something special to me. I just think Tampa Bay is going to be one of our rare repeat Stanley Cup winners.
And who do you think they'll face?
Likely Vegas, but they have not been very consistent.
I agree.
That is the thing where I think Montreal can really be aggravating to them. And I'm all for showing them some more aggravation. And really, what do I root for? I root for 2 semifinal 7-game series. I think that gives us all the best of both worlds.
I'm right there with you. So, John or JB, if you guys have questions, I want to defer to you, and then we can let Pete
that's
go.
everything. That's everything I have for the night. JB.
So, Pete, how has it been being in Nashville from the start, seeing the team, getting to the Stanley Cup, winning the Cup? How has that journey been for you?
It's been fantastic. I always wanted to be in on the birth of a team. And I actually thought, because I had done like 2,500 minor league baseball games in addition to all my years in hockey. And it looked like for a while I was going to be with the Denver Baseball Club when it came into existence in 1993. So that did not work out. So I went back to the Buffalo Sabres and worked until I got down here in 1998. And I never would have dreamed I would still be here 23 years later. And they want to offer me another deal yet. My deal just is running out. And this has been, well, number one, yesterday was the anniversary of the Predators hosting the 2003 draft, where they made that marvelous haul of 4 defensemen: Ryan Suter, Kevin Kline, Shea Weber, and Alex Sulzer, drafted in that order that year. And when you think about Suter and Weber, each over 1,000 games, Ryan, because of not having many injuries, is closer to 1,200 games played. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll never forget, as Jim Gregory, the late Jim Gregory, was calling the roll of all the teams from the stage that day, the roar that came up from the Nashville side when they were saying Nashville Predators, and the place just went absolutely ballistic. And that was a year before the club even reached the playoffs. That was the team's 5th season. The 6th year, they finally made the playoffs. But then 2007 came, and Craig Leopold made a deal to sell the team to some guy named Jim Balsillie. And that was when Blackberries were still in vogue. The iPhone had not taken over the marketplace. And that was his company, BlackBerry. But he decided to start marketing the team without even having applied to move the club to the NHL Board of Governors as the Hamilton, Ontario Predators. Using the logo, the marks, and all that stuff, the league then stepped in, and suddenly, instead of getting my house here where I sit right now, ready for sale with paint jobs and all that, getting ready to move back to Buffalo and commute to Hamilton, Ontario, the 40 minutes each way, we got saved by local ownership stepping in. And since then, it's been nothing but on the way up, especially with the fan response. So in April of 2008, the club had been stripped for sale. Paul Correa there was not the money there to re-sign him after his 2 free agent years here. Scott Hartnell and Kimmo Timonen dealt off to the Philadelphia Flyers. And Thomas Vokoun, the goaltender, the man who really helped the club to its first playoff berth, was dealt before his no-trade clause kicked in to the Florida Panthers. And then, so the depth was not exactly there. I quoted Earl Weaver earlier. He was proud of his Royals teams for always having deep depth. There was not deep depth on that Predators team. Last week of the season in April of 2008, they're in a must-win game against the St. Louis Blues here in Nashville, down a goal in the third period. And then, without any provocation from public address or from the scoreboard, in the first TV timeout of that third period, the fans, as one, seemed to decide, okay, a spontaneous standing ovation to try to will the team on. And it worked. And it's been almost a tradition here ever since that April in 2008. So, JB, to answer your question, it has been so much fun to see the increase in interest. And then in 2017 in the Cup final, while the Country Music Association Festival is going on outside, it looked like Woodstock around Bridgestone Arena. I mean, Alan Jackson was holding a concert in the street on Broadway, and there was no place to move. You had to get into the arena almost to escape it, but that was like running a true gauntlet to get in. So to see that amount of enthusiasm come in, whereas earlier, Tuesday and Thursday night games, and traditionally the Predators have been at home Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday since they started. They avoid Sundays and Wednesdays because of the churchgoers here in the Bible Belt. And that was something they had to do. But then what happens with the first ever playoff game? Easter Sunday afternoon. And the place was as loud as it has ever been for that game. And the fact that it was against the team favored by many here, by many of the hockey fans here, the Detroit Red Wings, made that even greater. And then Vokoun wins that one. And then game number 2 here at home, game 4 of the series, he registers a shutout.
That's awesome. So, do you guys have any other questions?
No, that's everything that I have.
Well,
yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, Pete. It was
Yes.
an honor to have you. Oh,
Glad to do it, guys. Thank you so much for understanding my fragile emotional state at this point in time.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you again for taking the time out of your night. We all really appreciate it.
Pete, it was awesome talking to you, and I got to tell you, if there wasn't a game on tonight and we had nothing else going on, could have talked to you for hours longer.
Well, sometime we'll tell the story of what it was like when I was with Los Angeles Kings, and Bob Miller and I were deputized, if you will, to be the announcer voices on the ABC made-for-TV movie Miracle on Ice, because we're the only guys who could pronounce the Russian names at that point in time in Southern California.
wow.
And here we were, for a kid of television growing up in the 50s and the 60s, we were on the sound stage at Glen Studios to do the audio. And what was recorded there in my youth? I Love Lucy.
Oh, wow.
That's
awesome.
something else. I love that show.
Yeah.
I'm an
That is
old school
awesome.
guy, so I love all those shows.
Let's just see the chocolates coming down the conveyor belt and think about that.
And she's shoving them in her mouth.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Thank you,
Pete,
guys.
Yes, go enjoy the game. Thank you again so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And hopefully
Enjoy
we can
your
have you
off
on
season.
again.
Thanks for
Yes,
the
I'm sorry for your
invitation.
loss.
Yes.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Take care, guys.
Have a
Bye,
good one,
Pete.
Pete.
All right. Good night.
Pete Weber, awesome interview. That was great to have him. Guys, we got a lot to talk about still. And there's one thing that I've got to bring up that I didn't get to bring up while Pete was here because I figured this would be a good conversation for the three of us. I know I bashed on the Islanders for losing 8-0 the other night, but can we talk about what happened a few nights before in Game 4 against the Lightning? Because this may have been not only the save of the playoffs, save of the year by Polak. I mean, Ryan Polak with a game saver. It was less. It was less than 10 seconds to go. 8 seconds, a little bit more to go on an Islanders power play, and this happened. I will pull it up because this was for all I had to say about what happened last night. This was an unbelievable save. I mean, this may have been one of the best plays. Watch McDonough does the spin move, and right there, Polak right in front. I mean, what a save. And if he doesn't save that, this game possibly goes to overtime. Islanders can take a 3-1 lead. The Lightning can take a 3-1 lead. And I have said this from the beginning. If you give the Islanders a lead, this is a team that will not give it back. And I think that is proof. The perfect proof to say that is exactly how this team played. That was awesome.
The Lightning avoided that by scoring 8 goals last night. They didn't have to worry about that.
We'll convert you an Islander fan eventually, Jake. Don't worry.
Absolutely not.
We got time. Don't worry.
JV,
it's like converting him into a Mets fan. It's not going to happen.
There's a lot of things in this life. I was basically born into being a Rangers fan, and it will never change. You can try all you want. It will never, ever change. This right here. I'm not going to
try. It'll just happen. Trust me.
Absolutely not.
It'll just happen.
Absolutely not. But I had to bring that up because that was, talk about a phenomenal save.
Big time play.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, I don't care if the Islanders win this series or not. That will be the play. That will be the play of the playoffs, no matter what happens in this series. That's what I mean. That was unbelievable. I was watching it live, and my immediate thought was, "Wow, that's going to be one heck of a goal." And when Polak saved that, unbelievable. So I do tip my hat.
By the way, McDonough took more shots in the final period of his game than Ben Simmons did in the final period of his game.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we're going to get to the NBA.
We're going to get there in a minute. Hold on. I want to round this out. Because, John, I have some things you're going to like here. I want to round out.
Sorry, it was an easy shot. I took more shots there than Ben Simmons did in the fourth quarter.
I have a couple things I know you'll appreciate because we just have a couple new NHL awards. Nothing crazy. It's just a couple that came in over the weekend. And I know, John, you'll appreciate because actually 2 out of the 3 belong to your Canes, and I think they're very well deserved. I think the best of the 3, in my mind, is the Jack Adams Award for the Coach of the Year. Rod Brindamore, absolutely deserving Coach of the Canes. I told you, this is a team that played well beyond my expectations, especially for a very young team. I think he did a great job. I think it was very deserved. The Selke Trophy went for best defensive forward. Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers won that, so congrats to him. And John, I know you'll like this too because it's another Canes player. Lady Byng Award for the most gentlemanly player, so the opposite of a punchable face, I guess, right? That goes to Jacob Slavin, one of your favorite players on the Canes.
While also being one of the best defenders. It's a mixture of sportsmanship and being up there as the best defender. He only had 2 penalty minutes this year, as we mentioned a while ago.
Yeah.
The 2 penalty minutes he had all year while leading the team in ice time. He flipped the puck over the boards by accident, got a 2-minute delay of game.
Could have been perfect on the season.
Never committed a penalty on another player.
What's up?
The Pistons got the number 1 pick in the draft lottery, just so you know.
Oh, jeez.
Pistons, Rockets,
breaking news
Cavs,
by Jake.
Raptors.
So Pistons and Raptors?
Pistons, Rockets, Cavs, Raptors.
Okay.
Golden State with the 7th and the 14th. They're going to get 2 number 1s. Good for them.
Yeah, that's as it happens.
The Rockets are going to rebuild. I mean, they got a lot of picks. Them and OKC have some picks.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to be rebuilding.
I love this comment right here. Detroit, the city of misery.
Those Pistons have been bad for a long time since they had
the Lions, the Tigers.
The Tigers have been bad for a while.
But that's all I got for hockey. So
the Red Wings have fallen. The Red Wings have fallen
basketball after this, by the way.
For a while now too.
Yeah, no, they're not looking good.
I kind of want to forget about the NBA. Kind of like Ben Simmons wants to forget about shooting.
Oh, that may have been one of the worst displays. I think any of the three of us could have been better than him. And I'm not just saying.
I mean, we would have taken shots at least.
At the very least, I can put a ball up. I mean, look.
How many of us would shoot higher than 37% at the free throw line? I think all three of us.
I'm not a good free throw shooter. I know I'm bad.
You'd be better than 37%.
I could probably do better than that. But I think what's worse, how do you not take – I would shoot that. I mean, I'm terrible at basketball.
I shot 70%. My absolute worst.
Really?
Yeah. Now, and that was my worst. I don't understand how guys can't shoot free throws. And then you have a wide open layup, and you're already 6 foot something. Why aren't you taking it?
Because he's afraid he's going to get hurt, I think. And I'm not agreeing with it, but I'm just explaining what I think is happening. But I think that is.
If you have that little confidence in your layup,
was he 6'10"? A guard.
You have that little confidence in hitting a layup, get off the court.
I agree.
Yeah,
get off the court.
It's not fair to. It's not fair to Embiid, man. I mean, Embiid played his heart out in that series, played through injury, came back from injury. I mean, Embiid, as much as he gets from everybody when it comes to slack,
plays hard
out, and nobody else picked him up really. Seth Curry's not your number 2. He's not a guy you're going to put as your number 2. If he is, you're not going to the finals.
He's a solid number 3,
4. I mean, he's not a guy you're going to count on to get to the finals, but he'll make some shots. They need a number 2, and Simmons was supposed to be. Simmons was supposed to relieve some pressure off of.
And John, to answer your question, by the way, he is 6'11", so he's nearly
6'11", and he's a guard.
And he did that.
With his wingspan, a layup be like a foot.
And Trae Young wasn't even going to block the shot. He just kind of like made a pass at the ball. He didn't even try.
Yeah, he understood, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do anything about this. It's just whatever. Like, nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, he is.
Listen.
And I don't like giving up on a play. But sometimes you just can't do anything.
No. Give me $500 million. I will go practice shooting for 12 hours a day.
Jamie,
how much does he make?
Give me
$145 million over the next 4 years.
Give me $25,000. Give me $1,000. I don't care. I'll go do it. I don't care if I can get the prestige of being that good. I'll go do it. Especially if I love basketball like this guy's supposed to love basketball. You love basketball. I'm sorry, but that's offensive to basketball and anybody that likes basketball.
John brought that up. Shaq struggled. Dwight Howard has struggled. The worst free throw shooting percentage in the history of the NBA playoffs, career-wise, Ben Simmons, 37%. After this playoffs, he has the worst in the history of basketball. Worse than Shaq, worse than Dwight Howard,
which is a sad thing to say.
Ever. And he's a guard.
He missed more free throws than teams in the playoffs.
Yep, more than the Nets. I believe 10 more than the Nets.
There was a couple teams that were lower than him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, just sad. That wasn't the way to lose, But speaking of losing, the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that one.
His foot was on the line. I feel like
that game by inches.
It feels like you guys. I'm sure you guys have seen the Adam Sandler movie Grown Ups.
Yeah.
It's like when they have the flashback. His foot was on the line. His foot was on the line. That's what was happening. But of course they got the right call. But his foot was on the line. I gotta tell you, I saw all over every social media. If he had like a size 17 or 16 shoe instead of his stupid size 18, he makes that into 3-pointer.
Yep.
His feet are just that big. And of course, that's not like an excuse. It's just funny to think if his feet are just any smaller, just a smidge smaller, it's a 3-pointer and he wins the game probably.
Listen, he played a hell of a game.
Oh, absolutely. That was not his fault that they lost.
Yeah, it was all him. Joe Harris, I'm sorry. If they bring him back, he got hit in the head with a pass from James Harden. He got beat every play I saw in Game 7. He was horrible. And yet he was on the court time and time again. It was frustrating to watch.
I mean, that overtime was so ugly. I think there were, 2 shots made, 3 shots made? I know there was only a couple. It was not a lot, I know.
I mean, you can't expect guys like Harden and Durant to play 50 minutes a game.
No, but I'm just talking about the rest of the Nets team. Nobody was making – I mean, nobody. KD was the only one that seemed to be doing anything.
This is what I was worried about when I looked at the Nets was, could these guys step up without the experience? Because these guys don't – the role players don't really have the experience, don't really have the pedigree of winning, whereas Harden and KD do and Kyrie does. Right, but it's different when you get to –
No, the issue is when they got rid of the better role players when they brought in Harden and they had less guys. So what happened was they got rid of Allen and
when you get rid of those other guys, you're expecting your new big guys to work. And when Kyrie's out,
and picked up Blake Griffin and all these guys and DeAndre Jordan and all these guys.
Blake Griffin was phenomenal for what he did in Detroit.
He did do pretty well, I have to say. He really picked up his game, especially for
he resurrected his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't resurrect his career. He was faking being washed up in Detroit.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I want him on my team that, he all of a sudden can play.
Yeah.
But there'll be somebody that'll take him.
It's like James Harden was the marshmallow man, and then all of a sudden he's as skinny as I am as soon as he goes to Brooklyn. I don't think so, Barry Bonds.
Oh, leave the Incredible Hulk alone, okay?
It's the Incredible Barry Hulk, excuse you.
Yes. But anyway, getting back to the Nets, I mean, Harden played, he was injured. He shouldn't have been playing as much as he played. Nobody stepped up. Joe Harris is a joke. I wish we had Spencer right now so we could talk about Joe
I was
Harris.
just thinking that.
I don't think he wants to talk about his Nets right now, I'm sure.
I really want to see what the thoughts. I want Joe Harris to change his name. I think that he should never be called Joe anymore.
Yeah, he should not be able to have your name. Nope, he does not deserve it. You're the better Joe.
I'm curious.
You're the better Joe.
Thank you.
What should he rename himself, though? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm in the middle of renaming players, so we're going to find a name for Joe Harris.
Him and Ben Simmons can golf on an island and practice basketball together.
Should we reassign the name Joe to Anthony Davis and nickname him Glass Joe and just totally change his name as well? Or do we not want to give him the name of Joe because we don't want to disrespect him?
Glass Joe.
Rick Joe Harris.
That's a common,
All right, fair
phrase.
enough.
I can't change all of the world, but Joe Harris doesn't.
But you can change Joe Harris. Okay.
He's trying to change the world for the better.
I don't blame you.
It was like, I'm gonna get a pass when Harden's got the ball. Wake up! I mean, come on, you're on the court. Look alive. I mean, especially you're a good shooter. I don't get it.
I mean, keep your eye on the ball. I mean, I know that's a baseball thing, really, but that applies to all sports. Always pay attention to where the ball is. In football, if you're going to tackle a guy that doesn't have the ball, what good is that going to do? Keep your eye on the ball so you know who has the ball. In basketball, keep your eye on the ball. Why? So if you know the ball is coming to you, it doesn't go doink and come off of your head, right? So you catch the ball, okay? In baseball, obviously, so you can hit the ball. And in hockey, all right, it's not a ball, it's a puck, but whatever. It's the same concept. If it's coming to your stick, so you get the pass.
You definitely don't want that to hit you in the head.
Right.
No.
You always pay attention to what's happening. Why? Because that's where the play is. How do you not pay attention and then let it hit you in the head like that? I don't understand. That's pathetic.
The ghost of J.R. Smith lives in Joe Harris.
But J.R. Smith wasn't even that bad, I don't think. J.R. Smith made dumber.
Would say otherwise.
J.R. Smith made other stupid plays, but not necessarily that type, if that makes sense.
He played a very John Starks-like game. Just not there when it was needed in a do-or-die game.
Not a John Starks guy. Oh, I see why. I see why. Okay.
It was just disappointing.
It was.
And why was TNT constantly showing Kyrie Irving? The guy can't play. He's hurt. I don't need to see him. Get him off my screen.
It's fair. That's fair.
I mean, if you show him once, I understand. That's it. We're done.
How many times did Kawhi get shown in game one is my question, because I didn't watch it, but I'm sure he probably got shown a lot, when he didn't play, or CP3. Yes.
I'll never understand it. I'll never understand. And this whole stupid thing with CP3 is I'm infuriated about it, actually, because they're putting him on this COVID protocol, health and safety, whatever. But LeBron went out to go hang out with Drake at a party. I believe it was
LeBron. LeBron can do whatever.
Right.
He can
LeBron wants.
Exactly.
do whatever he wants.
But that's what I mean. I understand it's LeBron, but it just infuriates me that they're like so wishy-washy with the rule. And it's the same thing in hockey, like I was talking to Pete about, right? It infuriates me because the way they call versus don't call, or in this case, the way they make decisions or rather don't, I don't understand it. I mean, what is up with that? It's just mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. I'm not a fan.
Neither. I'm so frustrated. If you couldn't tell, I'm so sick of the way these leagues are handling everything. It's just ridiculous.
Well, now we can all go to the games again, guys. So
that's true.
Full attendance.
True.
Yeah. So it's like COVID didn't happen. Did you see the square in Milwaukee?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was nuts.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, is there COVID?
Did COVID just not hit Milwaukee?
I get that you want to enjoy the game, go to a sports bar or something. No, let's go pack into the crowd. That there's no room to move. Yeah, that's good.
It's a good idea.
That works. People are strange.
They're going into stadiums sitting together and stuff now. So what's the difference, right?
I guess,
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I talk sports.
I agree. So, anything else in the NBA you wanted to talk about?
No, I mean, Phoenix, LA, Kawhi's out, CP3's out, John's out. We're all out.
We're all out.
We'll see if Phoenix can take game 2 tonight.
This might be the most boring playoffs, I think, NBA playoffs I can remember in a long time because of all the injuries.
KD shut that down the other day, which I give him a lot of credit for.
Who did?
Because KD, after the Nets got eliminated, there was a fan on Twitter saying, how the NBA's got to be upset that the Nets are out.
I'm not upset. I just think that with all these injuries, it's kind of lost its touch with everybody getting hurt.
There's no stars. There's no really big cities left. New York's out.
The conference finals doesn't mean as like the Western for me. It's because both of their stars are hurt, and it's like,
well,
man,
CP3's not hurt. He has.
Well, you know what I mean. Like both of them are out. Especially Kawhi's probably not going to play in the series. So the Clippers have little to no chance because he's he's not going to play. So it's like that kills it. It's like
the Clippers cost me money last year. Forget them.
Whenever I see any conference finals, any NFL, AFC Championship, NFC Championship, I want the teams at their full strength so that way I can watch the teams at their best. That's what I
agree.
So I'll ask this as I asked back in Atlanta when we were on the radio. Trae Young, do we like him now? Is he a superstar or no?
Yeah, I mean, well, define because I can't say I like him.
He's underrated, first of all.
He's becoming the NBA villain, if you will. That's how people seem to be describing him. So if that's what you mean by like him, I don't say I like him like that. But do I think he's a superstar? Absolutely. And I could have told you that earlier this season that I thought he was. I think him and Ja are easily two of the biggest players for the future. No question. And Trae is proving that he's got ice in his veins, and he is just right now he's almost as good as they come in terms of young stars. And you notice how I don't put Zion in that conversation right now?
Well, Zion's not happy in New Orleans.
It's not an accident. It's not an accident I don't put him in there, though. Why? He's not leading his team to playoffs and doing all these things, right? Ja led his team to the playoffs. That's what superstars do. And I understand it's hard to compare these players, but I respect that he did that. And Trae Young, he is taking over. And I love that for him.
When you're 22 or 24 or whatever, like Luka and Zion are really young, you haven't done anything, shut your mouth. Like,
I think Luka has a little room to talk.
No. You haven't done anything in the NBA for real. You haven't gone anywhere in the NBA, and you're already complaining that, oh, I don't have enough help. I might want out. Like, get out of here with that. I don't like that.
I know you bring up Luka just because he's an example.
If you establish yourself.
Do you really think it's a basketball thing, or do you think it's a money thing? He's not going to make money playing in New Orleans. Not going to get the endorsement.
No, I mean, he's
deal.
going to get paid. He's going to get the max whenever he's up for it.
We're not talking about NBA contracts.
But it's already these guys whining.
He's talking about sponsorships, other endorsement deals.
No, but I think that they're whining because they don't have the super team. Because they don't have their GM.
Be playing with RJ Barrett in Madison Square Garden within the next.
I would love that.
But I'm saying I think that they're whining because they don't have their GMs going out and saying, "Hey, who do you want? Who do you want to trade for?"
Yeah, but Luka's not complaining, and I don't think he.
I've already heard reports that he's unhappy with the direction of the team.
Luka?
I've already heard
Porzingis is upset.
I've heard reports that Luka's unhappy.
Porzingis is always upset.
Yeah, well, that's why he's a.
So him and Zion both apparently are unhappy with the direction.
The only thing I'll say is Luka has a little more room to speak because he's actually accomplished things.
But what has he accomplished?
He's brought his team to the playoffs, and he's
good for you. So did Ja.
It's right. That's why I brought Ja before because he's a superstar now. He's earning that status as a player.
Sometimes just shut your mouth and do your job. Like, you don't need to cry every time you don't have the perfect team. Not every team's going to have. You're not going to have 50 superstars on every team. It's just not going to happen. Stop whining that you don't have.
The problem is that's the way this league is set up to be now. You need to have 2 superstars per team. I don't think I like it. It's not that I like it,
but that way if you think about it too. 3 is now, I think, more the setup.
Yeah, I think it's it's more common now than it used to be.
If for example, if Damian Lillard said, "Hey, I'm unhappy with the direction of the team, and I want you to bring somebody in, or I want out," I wouldn't be upset at that because look at what Dame's done for that team. Look at all he's given to that team for years and years. He's never said anything.
You know what I think is ironic about this, though? Hold on. He says this about Dame. It's okay. But to switch it to football, when Aaron Rodgers complains, he says, "Shut up and play football." Can we just talk about – hold on. It's the same thing. Rodgers has actually got a championship. Hold on. Rodgers has brought a championship to his team, actually.
Look what the Packers have done. Look what the Packers have done to build around Rodgers. All the players they tried to invest in, aside from the Jordan Love thing, but for years and years they tried to invest in the team, make the team better.
Not really. That's the point.
The Blazers haven't done anything to help Dame out.
That's not true. They brought in Carmelo
Anthony. CJ McCollum or Carmelo. Carmelo's out of his prime. Come on,
doesn't matter. But
he
needed another guy to play alongside him.
They haven't brought a Jimmy Butler. They haven't brought Kawhi Leonard. They haven't brought Paul George.
You know why they haven't, John? It's the market. Nobody wants. I don't think anyone wants to play in Portland.
But I'm saying
that's the problem they're running into.
Is if he has a gripe, I can understand because he's given everything and he's never said anything. He hasn't caused problems like Aaron Rodgers does. Aaron Rodgers has always been a diva there in Green Bay. Always been these boiling issues. Dame's never said anything.
But your criteria seems to be if they've done something in the league and something for their team, they're allowed to have a gripe.
They've established themselves and they've done something.
Aaron Rodgers, I mean, how much more established would you like him to be?
Yeah, but he has no room to talk because the team has tried to build around him for years and years. They've tried to help him out.
How many first-round draft picks on offense have they had?
Look at that offensive line. Look how much money they've invested in his offensive line over the years.
That's not what we're asking. We're just saying how many first-round picks have gone towards offense, and the answer is none, except for Jordan Love, which does not help Aaron Rodgers.
So
the point we're making is the highest pick. Hold on. The point we're making is the highest pick you can get is arguably the considered, the best pick in your draft usually. That's where the best talent, and I put quotes around that because, of course, there's always diamonds in the rough and sleepers. I know that. But that's where the considered best talent is at number 1, and they haven't done squat. And I don't mean to make this about Aaron Rodgers, but as we always say, of course, Aaron Rodgers always makes the conversation.
Always Aaron Rodgers.
He's just that way. But he's a great example of a guy that is in the same scenario based on what John's saying.
Didn't Aaron Rodgers they went out and got Jimmy Graham? Didn't Aaron Rodgers have Devontae Adams? Didn't Aaron Rodgers have Donald Driver? Didn't Aaron Rodgers have James Jones? Didn't he have Aaron Jones, one of the best running backs in football? I mean, this guy, David Bakhtiari, was on his line. Of Corey Lindsley was his center. Really good offensive lineman. They've had great offensive linemen. They've had great skill players for years.
I like that. Just Aaron Rodgers. That's the title.
Drafted Clay Matthews, who was a force for them. They tried for B.J. Raji, who was actually really good for them. They have Jair Alexander. They've had stars on this team. I mean, even offensively, like I mentioned, all those players. Don't forget about Jordy Nelson. They had Jordy Nelson. He's had elite receivers.
If you're using your criteria, he's allowed to say he doesn't want to play there anymore, John. You can't have criteria that's weapons. Different.
They built around him for years and years. It's his fault that he's 1-5 in conference championship games.
I think the problem with what you're missing is they've given him one weapon at a time. They haven't had, like, let's say, Devontae Adams and Jimmy Graham.
They only had Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver.
I wouldn't put Donald Driver and Jordy Nelson in that same conversation, though. I'm sorry.
Did you watch Jordy Nelson whenever he was at his prime?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't put Driver up with Nelson.
Donald Driver was really good.
Franco hit a home run for the Rays.
Ooh, good for him.
So they've had weapons for years. I mean, James Jones led the league in touchdowns one year. He led the league in touchdowns. That's really good.
Okay, John.
They've had weapons.
John, you could say that about any player. That one player had one whole season.
So is he better than Julio Jones? Is he better than Julio Jones?
No, but he led the league in touchdowns, which is really good. James Jones was a reliable receiver.
Just wanted to check on that. That's all.
He was a really good receiver. He's had weapons his whole career. He's had a great line his whole career.
Help me.
You know what I think I got to say, JB? I got one thing. John is out of order.
There you go.
Anyway, we're in basketball. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers for some reason.
He always comes up, I'm telling you.
But anyway, these guys, Luka, and if the reports are true, if Luka and Zion are complaining already at their young age, shut up. Like, seriously, go out and prove it. I don't care if you've had some good games in the playoffs. You haven't gone anywhere. You haven't taken your team to the conference finals. You haven't done anything of relevance.
I got one thing
to establish yourself. You don't need to be a 22-year-old kid already whining about wanting out. It sets a bad precedent. It's a bad example.
I agree, but Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not saying players can't complain. They can, but at some point when you're new to the league and you're a young guy, you need to take your lumps before you start demanding whether you want in or out of a place.
We got a little judge there too now. He's got his gavel.
There we go. We got to keep that for when I say out of order. I love it.
There you go. Now when someone's out of order, we just go. You don't have to say it. Just there you go.
I like it.
So, all right. Do we have anything else for the NBA though?
No, I mean, we just talked about the draft lottery.
Yep.
I think I'm pretty good.
John, I'm going to bring it up, and I hope you remember. You told us at the end of last week, I don't know if it was during the show. I know for a fact it was either right after the show ended or right before the show ended, that you had a topic that you wanted to bring up to us, but you wouldn't tell us anything about whatsoever, and it has been eating away at me. And I'm going to tease this first, and then we'll get to that. I have a surprise for you, gentlemen, and for all the viewers.
I'm really excited
afterwards. But John, you had the floor. You had this last week.
Are you sure? Because this is going to be potentially a long one. All right, so I asked this a couple years ago to my brother. I thought this was a good topic. Okay, some sports get a little bit boring. Some sports are a little bit dry. Golf,
baseball can get boring too. Sadly.
So how do you fix those sports? You got to add something to these sports to make them fun. Whether if you had boxing, if you had barbed wire around the ring, add a little bit of that. Makes boxing a little bit more exciting. You're going to draw some people in. So I wanted to know some sports where you guys could spice up the sport. And it could be as wacky as you want. I would add barbed wire around the ropes in boxing. More people are going to watch. And people are not going to push each other into the ropes because you don't want to get pushed into the ropes in boxing if there's barbed wire there.
You just suggested let's put barbed wire around the ropes so we hurt each other severely.
No, not hurt. boxing would be a lot more interesting. You're trying to spice up the sport.
Okay, so hold on.
Got to do something.
Let me present. Hold on. Let me present this scenario in which someone could get severely injured, albeit completely unintentional. Hold on. You'll understand my point when I get to it. Let's say you and I are boxing. Just using us because we're here, and I knock you on. I knock you out. I completely. You go out cold. But I do it, and we're near the ropes, and you
don't get near the ropes.
Hold on. Let's say we're a little bit off the middle of the ring, but you're big enough that when you fall, your head hits the ropes.
Well, then you better be careful and don't get knocked out. This would make boxing a lot more exciting.
Do you understand that nobody would ever box again?
Well, nobody cares about boxing now, so we got to spice it up. Got to bring boxing back.
Logan Paul is boxing. Everybody wants to see it now.
Those are exhibitions. That's not Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. That's not that. Nobody cares about these exhibitions.
It's horrible.
Anyway,
but I don't want to add barbed wire and possibly kill people by accident. Because think about it. This is really terrible. But I mean, this is a serious scenario I'm now thinking about. Okay, your jugular vein, which is in your throat, if they fall and the barbed wire hits them in the neck,
there we go, Debbie. Debbie is in order. She's not out of order. She's not in contempt. Look at Debbie go. I'm proud of her. A ring of fire around the soccer field.
What is wrong with soccer? Soccer is a great sport. It is not boring.
Boring. Let's face it. There's not enough action in soccer. Maybe shorten the field a little bit. Put a ring around the field of fire so you don't go out of bounds.
And watch. It is a great sport.
It's boring. I've tried.
It is not boring.
John, hold on. I
trust what Debbie said. I like it.
I actually have something really interesting.
Yes, bring it on.
Now this is not my idea.
They're all hypothetical.
I am going to read something out to you, gentlemen. I saw this on social media today, and it just so happens to be that John brought up this topic today. And I'm sure neither of you heard about this, but have you heard about the Savannah Bananas?
No.
I swear this is real. And the Savannah Bananas, it is a baseball team, and there are some very, very odd rules. So here are some of the rules. Number 1, every inning counts. The team that scores the most runs in an inning gets a point. The first team to 5 points wins. So basically, each inning it's like almost a mini game in and of itself. So let's say I score 5, JB's team scores 6. They get a point. The first team to 5 wins the game. So it could potentially go up to 9 innings still. Or you could have ties, I guess. But it's just, and again, this is just interesting rules I saw. But
I love it.
This is another one. Now, this is good. A time limit of 2 hours. No inning starts after the game gets to be 2 hours old. There is a tiebreaker format if a game is tied when the limit is up, and there is a step below that I'll get to later. Now, that I really love because, look, I love baseball, but baseball can be very slow and can get boring at times. And if you're really trying to engage fans, a slower game is not what you need. You need a quick game that'll be done fast. Okay, that helps it keep on par with other sports. Now, this is where some of the rules are going to get real odd. Number 3, no stepping out of the batter's box. If a batter steps away from the box at any point, it is considered a strike. This is real rules that apparently are played.
I mean, it's minor leagues. Minor leagues, you got to try different things. So why not?
Number 4, no bunting. Now, that I don't agree with because, look,
that's horrible.
Bunting is a lost art that I miss. So I don't agree with that. Okay, number 5. Batters can steal first. If there's a wild pitch or a passed ball during any pitch of an at-bat, the batter can go to first.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
It forces you to be more heads up. I like it.
No, I don't like it.
Hold on.
Crazy.
This is an odd one. No walks. If a pitcher throws a 4th ball, the batter takes off towards first base in a sprint. The catcher then has to throw the ball around to every defensive player on the field before it becomes a live ball. The hitter is allowed to advance to as many bases as possible before the ball becomes live. The ball does not have to touch the pitcher or the catcher, though. So you could potentially have to throw it.
Blown away.
You have to throw it all the way to the outfield.
That's
and
crazy.
I could potentially run around all the bases and technically score a run.
That's great. I love it.
Oh, there's more. Hold on. Here's the tiebreaker. A one-on-one showdown tiebreaker.
Ooh.
If a game is tied when the time is up, each team picks a pitcher and a hitter to face off, with the defensive team only having a catcher and a pitcher in the field. If a hitter puts a ball in play, he has to make it home to get a point before the pitcher gets the ball and throws it to the catcher. So basically, the pitcher is playing all positions. And there's more. If a pitcher gets a strikeout or throws the runner out before scoring, there is no point for the hitting team. The first team to prevent the other team from scoring wins. So it's actually, the whole point is to stop the other team from winning and the other team from scoring.
Ball back in the day.
What?
That reminds me of like wiffle ball back in the day.
Absolutely.
I'm not disliking that one.
Two more odd rules. There are no.
You're out of order, apparently.
Apparently, that's okay. There are no mound visits from any coaches or players, which is interesting because that would cut down on time.
Why don't we just save time? Why don't they just get an earpiece like they do in the NFL?
That would be good.
Do that.
Take out the in-between innings.
There you go.
Put the advertisements on the marquee during the game. I mean, come on. There's ways to save time. So time isn't the issue.
See, there you go. So there's a way to save time. Hold on. We got one more rule. One more rule. If a fan catches a foul ball, it is considered an out.
No.
Now, look, I'm not suggesting all of these rules go into place, but what I am saying is I have got to give credit to the Savannah Bananas, and I'm not kidding. This is real. If you don't believe me, JB, I swear this is real. I wish this was a joke.
What league are they in?
I don't know, but if you look up the Savannah Bananas are their own team, I think. Their thing says we make baseball fun. I think they're in their own like special league. Like it's
apparently they're in a special league.
It is a special league, all right.
Oh, we see that.
Wow.
Who are the Savannah Bananas affiliated with? Here you go. Let's see.
Like some sort of mental institution.
They are the Coastal Plain League, consisting of 16 teams throughout North and South Carolina, featuring the top college players from around the country.
Yeah. Good for them.
Look, I wish this was a joke, gentlemen, but the Savannah Bananas are a real thing, and this is a real sport that people are playing. And while it's odd, I have got to give them credit. If you want to make baseball fun, just throw some really stupid rules. I got to be honest, I'm intrigued, and I want to watch a game now. Just for the fact that this sounds so stupid and so ridiculous,
I like the
it seems worth
rule.
Watching. See that? So look, I'm not saying every rule that they came up with is pure genius, but some of it was pretty fun, right? The tiebreaker was fun. The no mound visits. See, that sparked a good idea, though. You add the earpiece, right? There are some legitimate things that can come from this.
Bartolo Colon on the mound with the tiebreaker rule. Would you ever let him pitch?
No.
Never. Giannis on the mound, he'd take forever.
That was a low blow. But that was good.
You'd have to think of who's pitching now. It's kind of interesting.
Right? But
I want to see these pitchers run a little bit.
Fire around the ring, fire around the soccer field.
Now that's
these
stupid.
Rules.
John,
it's
now
just
that's
fantastic.
Ridiculous. No, my rules are funny, not dangerous.
I like Debbie's. But, a ringer fire around the soccer field. You're not going to go out of bounds. You shorten the field a little bit by like 50 yards.
You guys are killing me.
Maybe if you just take soccer, you cut the field in like half. Maybe soccer would be a lot more interesting.
You realize how physical soccer is?
No, I know. But if you cut the field in half, then these players aren't running all the way up, all the way back with nothing happening. The guy kicking it all the way downfield and the guy kicking it back, and it's boring. It's 0-0.
I'm going to tell you this. This will change your opinion on soccer. LeBron James is a closet soccer fan.
That makes me hate soccer more.
His flopping is soccer 101.
That makes me hate soccer more.
I would have to agree with John. That makes me hate soccer even more.
You're not helping your case.
JB,
if I was a judge,
do you have any special rules you'd like to implement for a sport?
No. I don't want to implement rules. I don't want to be a commissioner.
You got to fix a sport, a dead sport, dying sport. You got to fix it up with something wacky to save it. Draw fans in.
I got to do something wacky.
Yes,
Savannah
you got to draw
Bananas,
fans
man.
in, man. Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
Yep. I'm going
I
to
have
get you a
much
shirt of
respect
the
for them.
Savannah
So wait,
Bananas.
so what is Jake's here? Because Jake just read rules from somebody else. What is Jake?
But
Those are
Jake, Jake found it.
Exactly.
Jake
That's not
found
acceptable.
the
And
wacky
would you like to see their
rules.
outfits, gentlemen? Would you
Yes,
like to see
please.
what
I'm
they wear?
afraid.
Yes,
I'm
please.
Because
afraid.
this is
The special
gorgeous.
outfit.
This is truly. Let me get this for you because this is good. Oh yeah. They're rocking
Are they
what looks like
do they
a
have
skirt
to
or
wear
a kilt.
Do they have to wear a
I'm
kilt?
not sure, but I like the way it looks. It's different.
What about the glasses?
I think that's more optional, but I think the jersey, the kilt, maybe the socks and the shoes, and definitely the hat.
Okay.
Would you sign to play for them having to wear that?
No, absolutely not.
I would.
I wouldn't.
Look, if it made me a lot of money.
I'm thinking football, we get rid of the helmets.
They already had that, and players died, so they're not going to do that again.
Hold on. So, John, it's okay to have a ring of fire or barbed wire, but we can't get rid of helmets because that's too much of a safety
Well,
risk.
this is
what?
2021. That was
John,
the 50s.
where is your safety risk concern?
That
Guys
was the
will learn how to
50s.
tackle.
We didn't know any better.
Guys will learn how to tackle if they don't have helmets. It'll improve the game.
Oh, there you go.
That would actually be an improvement in the NFL. So that's why my rule is the best.
Maybe a little bit of Legion of Doom spikes on their shoulders, like
my
the
God,
Legion
no.
of Doom.
Now, that's
You know?
just
No,
dangerous.
just no helmet.
That's
Just
just
no
dangerous.
Look, without helmets, it's going to be dangerous.
Not if you know how to tackle.
Just too dangerous at that point.
Look, I would pay homage to the Legion of Doom.
Absolutely.
Maybe each team gets one WWE character on their defense, and you could use that character one time per game. He comes out of nowhere. Whatever his special move is, he tries to attempt it on the offense. Maybe Undertaker choke slams.
Interesting.
You know, Ezekiel Elliott.
You
Maybe
guys are some
Randy
sadistic
Orton.
people.
Randy Orton.
Hey, hold on. I
Patrick
did not come up with
Mahomes.
anything sadistic. Mine was purely funny and weird. I went and stayed PG at best. I was perfectly safe.
Your WWE character or AEW or whatever.
Hold on. Before we get onto this, I did not say anything that is remotely violent. So, JB, to you, I say, good sir, out of order for that. Because John and Debbie, I agree, are being violent. And so are you. You with your no helmet nonsense. Excuse me. I'm the only one that didn't say anything violent. I just said, let's make baseball funny. You said no helmets. John, you said no helmets. John said barbed wire. And Debbie said, let's put a ring of fire. But I'm violent apparently because said, let's make it so pitchers have to play the field in the tiebreaker inning. Okay.
What about each team drafts? Each team at the beginning of the season drafts their WWE character. That's your character, and then they have their special move that you're going to try whenever you put them on the field. It's like, hey, Undertaker, on fourth down, we need you. They're trying to choke slam Patrick Mahomes or Devontae Adams or whoever.
Again, and I'm the violent one. I'm the violent one here.
He has to kind of follow the rules, but whenever the play's happening, he's allowed to do his special move at any point.
Is this kind of like The Purge?
No.
The football version of The Purge?
It's mixing WWE or AEW or whatever and football. You're adding a little spice to football. Maybe some people think football's a little boring. Add a little spice.
Boring.
No, I didn't say me, but maybe some people do. Add a little spice to it.
Speaking of football, I want to say this real quick on football.
Try it in preseason. See how
I want to say one thing for football. I'm sure you guys saw Carl Nassib came out as gay the other day. Yeah. I don't mean to switch subjects because I love the conversation we're having and it's very fun. But if we're going to talk about football, I just want to quickly say, I love that he did. Good for him. And the one thing I fear, I just hope it doesn't happen. They don't blackball him. I really, that's my biggest fear is that now that he's outwardly gay, they're going to be like, oh, we don't want him because he's going to be a disturbance in the locker room, any of that nonsense. I hope it doesn't happen. Or just
sucks as a player.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. But
I mean, if they cut him, I wouldn't. He's not a very good player.
No, but I don't think
from a statistics standpoint, I think he's not very good.
You got to give him a lot of credit for being courageous because in the locker room, going against other guys in the trenches, that's a courageous thing to do.
Absolutely.
to be willing to do that. No, nobody should ever have to hide who they are. If you're happy being gay, be happy. If you're happy being straight, be happy.
To say what John was saying, he's an okay player. I mean, he's not amazing, but I think he's good enough to be on an NFL roster still. I mean, he does enough to make an impact on the field.
I think 4 sacks a year he averages.
And that's okay. I mean, it's not great. But again, that's why I said he's not amazing, but I think he's enough to be on an NFL roster still. That's all. That's all.
Averages like 30 some tackles a year, I think.
Yeah, again,
I give him credit for doing it. I hope he doesn't have to deal with the backlash that I think he's going to have to deal with. But the NFL came out very positively. The Raiders, I believe, came out very positively about it. There's been a lot of support for him, so let's hope.
Yeah, of course. His jersey's the number one selling as of yesterday and today in the NFL. A lot of support.
It's good for him.
Well then.
He's making a lot of money, and so are the Raiders.
All righty. Debbie with some fighting words. All right.
But, let's hope that, when during the game, guys don't do stupid things. And,
no, of course not. Nobody deserves
but hold on. Let's not do stupid things, but let's play with no helmets and spikes on our shoulders. Cool.
And WWE characters, you get to use once a game.
I agree. And this I very much agree with. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So most of them can't come out with it. And I get it. It's hard. I'm sure it is. I mean, when you're on that platform, I can imagine it's hard as is.
I have a courageous thing he did.
I have family members and friends I know that are gay, and I know how hard it is for them to come out. So I can't imagine what it's like being
no one should ever have
on such a high stage. Having it's not easy. I'm sure.
No one should ever have to hide who they are. If that makes them happy, who cares? It doesn't change who he is as a person. So, And
I agree.
That's all I got to say about it.
I didn't mean to get off topic from our lovely conversation, but I really did feel like we needed to make a point of saying that.
That was an important news.
Because that was probably the best news I heard all week. I know it doesn't have a personal impact on me, of course.
But I don't think it should be news.
I meant it's good that the NFL responded in the way they did, and I'm happy that he could be who he wants to be. He can be himself.
JB's saying it shouldn't be news. It should just be.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's all. It should be. He is who he is. Who cares?
Right. That's why I'm saying I'm so happy he did it, because now I'm happy for him that he feels like he can be himself, and that's the most important thing.
And that is great for him. But just go out and make tackles. That's all I care about.
I agree.
You know what? That's all that matters.
All right. Do we want to go back to that conversation, or should I bring up?
I think we're done with the ring of fire, barbed wire. I think they should fire barbed wire that's on fire.
Johnny Cash.
All right. Well, I will bring up something I wanted to show you, gentlemen.
We're in trouble.
All right, bring it on. It better be better than.
I promise you, gentlemen, video. If I did play cornhole this weekend, and I am in the blue, I hope you can see it. I did play this weekend. It's about a minute and a half of some footage of me playing.
Is there audio?
No, well, there would be, but there were conversations in the background, so you wouldn't really be able to hear us. This is multiple games, but I'm sure I think you can see it pretty well if you're looking closely. You can see, obviously, John. This is your partner. You got to get a read on what I can do, but I tend to think.
Wow. Missed completely.
All right, hold on. I've had one miss. Excuse you. Beautiful throws, I think.
I don't know. Air balls. You're looking like Ben Simmons over there, okay?
These are right on the board, my man. Right on the board.
Looking like Ben Simmons.
Jake, that doesn't even look like you. I've never seen you with. I've only seen your head. I've never seen from the neck down, really.
Another complete miss.
That was on the board. That was on the bottom of the board.
Cornhole is amazing. It's a great game.
Oh yeah, and I'd like to point out also, John, you'll be happy to hear this. John, I played 4 games, and in 4 games, I went 4-0.
Oh, very nice.
And if it wasn't good enough, John, my first game, there was no video footage of it, sadly. My girlfriend, who happened to have been recording, she was not watching at the time, which is okay.
That was a terrible throw. What was that?
I threw it away intentionally.
Okay.
We had hit 21, and I was throwing them aside because I didn't want to lose the game and go over.
Oh, I was scared.
No.
What's this guy doing?
No.
Rattlesnakes to the cornhole champ.
I like it.
Could have put a bowl of piranhas under the cornhole, the hole. So you have to dip your hand in. If you get a 3-pointer, you got to dip your hand in.
But John, what I'd like to finish telling you, which is extremely important, I think.
Jake is the 76ers tanking.
Absolutely not. My first game, which sadly there was no video footage, which of course I wish there could have been, won that game 21-0.
Whoa. Stop right there. If you got to 11 and you were winning, game should have ended. You should have counted him as a skunk. That's how that works. It's called skunk.
It's okay.
Game's over. Ball game.
It's all right.
There's nothing else.
Exactly.
There's nothing above 11.
It was me and the family. It's okay. Look, I would rather win 21-0 though. I would rather win 21-0.
We skunked my uncle, and I was like, "You lost. We got to 11. You're at 0.
I want to win 21-0.
Get out of my face.
I agree.
You guys will get used to the 0 as you keep getting them game after game.
It's a skunk. If you get to 11 and you're at 0, ball game. That's how that works. That's cornhole. It's called embarrassing your opponent.
John, I won 21-0.
I think 21-0 is a bigger embarrassment than 11-0. Just saying.
And John, here's what matters.
If I get to 11 and I say you can't play anymore because I made you forfeit, ball game.
John, but here's what matters. Your teammate went 4-0 with different partners. I played with 3 different people. I played with my cousin, my uncle, and my grandfather. All 3 of us at the family party.
Who throws most like me?
Probably my cousin. He's closest to my age, and
all right,
he was the best one there besides myself.
All right, that's good.
But what I'll say was important was this, John. I could win with anybody. I made it work. You got a teammate that knows about winning. I went 4-0.
You don't have to worry about winning with anybody. You got me.
No, I know. But my point is, you know now that you can trust me. I told you, gentlemen. If I played cornhole and I managed, if I could get some footage, I would bring it to you. And I did. So I made a promise. What?
Yeah. You don't know what cornhole is?
Don't worry, guys. This is how I sucker you in.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
So
that's the game we're going to play. What are those beanbags or something?
Absolutely.
This guy, shark. He's a shark. That's what he is. He's a shark.
It's like
don't worry about it.
He's acting like Woody Harrelson in White Men Can't Jump. That's what he's being right now. He's trying to get us all riled up, think we can't beat him. John, I'm confident in our ability.
He has as much hair as Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yikes!
Am I out of order?
No, I don't think it's out of order. I think it's perfect trash talk. I love it. See, he can't handle it. It's all right. He can't handle the truth.
So what game are we playing?
Playing cornhole.
So, do we use my boards, or are you bringing your own, G?
We can use yours. I don't care.
Okay.
I think we should have to have both.
Mine aren't the best quality, but
you see, looking at this, he's already bringing bad quality.
John.
I see how this is going.
They're good bean bags, but not the best boards.
I want official bean bags.
We need to get John Mizek to fly in from Denver all the way to Pennsylvania just to be the referee, to bring good cornhole board, bring good bag. Well,
I'll win with any bag, any board, any partner. You heard it here first, gentlemen. I will not lose. I know that I'm going to. Hold on.
Trade me.
Hold on.
I have a no trade.
Hold on. If you let me finish, I know I'm going to have a good partner, so I don't even have to worry.
Well, hold on. John is from Jersey as well. I thought he lived in Denver. I didn't know he lived in Jersey.
Well, there you go, John. We're both Jersey men. There you go. But the point of what I was saying was I can win with anybody.
Sorry to hear that, John.
But knowing the fact that I have a good partner, I don't have to worry.
Just remember this.
I'm just confident in my ability to win with anybody.
This game you talk of, hole of corn or something, with your bags of beans and your board, I shall not lose.
Jake and the giant beanstalk. His magic
I don't
beans.
lose it. My teams lose. Then that's the Yankees. Me, I don't lose. Sorry, guys.
Yankees are struggling. We're struggling.
JB, I don't lose in cornhole, and I'm going to eviscerate you. And I know John will help me, but we are going to take you down and punish you.
I went 3-1 over the weekend on Lou Gehrig's birthday.
There you go.
We only lost because my cousin's girlfriend did not do anything.
Oh, no. Hold on. You can't blame your teammate. You can't blame your teammate. No, John. No.
I prevented us from getting skunked. She did nothing. I carried us. We almost came back and won. She did nothing.
Oh.
So, just so you know, I'm very hard on my teammates. So if you don't score, man, I'm going to place the blame square on you.
Let me explain this to you guys.
I'll say nice things. I'll make sure I'm like, oh, yeah, Jake, it was okay. You tried your best. Then whenever you leave, I'm going to be like, Jake ruined my game. I can't believe you didn't score at all.
I don't go scoreless, John. I come up in the clutch.
So you guys went 7-1. I played 0 games. I'm still going to beat both your asses. Just remember that.
Okay. When you lose, don't come crying that you didn't practice enough.
We don't know what Debbie can or cannot do.
I don't know what either of you can do.
We have no idea.
I know John went 3-1, so I have a little bit of an idea. But I'm the only one with real footage of any playing, so I'm the only one that has any proof that has even played.
How many times did Jake record that video?
I didn't record any.
How many times was that video recorded?
They're fighting amongst their own team already. I love it. I
just have to double check to make sure you didn't record it like 4 times. You're like, hey, you got to get the best footage. Which one's the best?
Those were just some of the videos
trying to butter me up.
Is calling you out. That's all I'm going to say. You guys are teammates, and he's calling you out.
God, John.
Look, I want the best. I want the absolute best. I pulled the Aaron Rodgers card. I want the absolute best for my team.
Wow.
I expect excellence.
Do you think he went forward on this week, John?
I think he did. I don't know how many times he recorded the film, but
John,
I like what I saw. Aside from throwing one away.
Look, I'm not going to throw perfect every single throw. I'm not going to lie to you. It's inevitable. But you saw what I can do. If you don't want to believe it, that's okay.
My board,
but I went 4-0. I did not lose. And as LeVar Ball has so famously said, never lost. Undefeated.
My board, I hope you know, beanbags slide a lot on my board.
That's why I throw the way I throw.
It's not a stick-'em board. They slide a lot, so you really have to be accurate. So if you're not accurate.
All I'm going to say is.
Oh, whoa. What is this? What is this coming out of the woodworks? With Daisy Duck. She has a picture with, I believe that's Daisy Duck, I believe. She has a picture with.
Of course I want to
know I'm curious what you have to say for yourself.
Wow,
What's to say? I wanted to show you what some videos weren't good in terms of quality. Some videos I didn't play well, I admit. I told you I don't have perfect throws all the time. I wanted to showcase what I got though.
Just so you know, like I said, if we use my boards, bags slide a lot, so you're really going to have to be accurate, because if you're not accurate,
I don't have a problem with
off.
I never have a problem with the bag sliding too much. I really don't. I have a very good
double
spin.
Checking.
You saw my shot.
I want to cover all our bases because I want to beat JB and Debbie and make sure we cover all our bases and make sure we practice enough.
John, if you record yourself, by all means, send it to me and I will play it on one of the shows. And I mean that sincerely.
I'll record it once and I'll record it once only.
Okay.
I record myself, but I'm not playing it till we play, just to show you guys that
you're going to be rusty. I was a little bit rusty. I'm not going to lie, because I haven't played in a year. I was a little bit rusty the other day.
Rusty.
I haven't played in over a year.
Hole in the hole.
I like to make sure I'm on the right side. The sun's not in my face. I like to make sure I throw it the right way. All these factors come into play, which JB doesn't understand.
John,
he's not an all-star cornhole player.
If you noticed, I had to play both the left and the right. So I can play both sides
that is an advantage. We have an ambidextrous cornhole player.
I throw with my right hand both times, but I can play from either side if need be.
But he's got both sides covered. I'm particular. I only like one side.
I prefer the left or the right, But
I will not take the right
I'll play
side.
the left.
I
If
prefer
that
the winning side.
If that
You guys
cornhole
aren't
board is right beside my left foot, I won't do it. I will hold out just like Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson or anybody like that. I'll make sure I hold out.
I'm winning. That's all I'm going to say. It was fun. Guys, let me know your concession speech. Are we working on it already? You guys are already fighting amongst yourselves.
I already know. There's no fighting. There's none.
You called him out in this video.
Look, I demand excellence. It's okay. That's what you do for teammates. You don't just sit back. You push them to their very best.
It.
That's what you do.
And I can appreciate that.
That's what he's going to do for me. I lost a game over the weekend. Jake is probably like, you need to win them all. So next time you play, win them all. Bam. I need to do better.
In over 40 years. So that's all I'm going to say.
And how many times have you played in over 40 years?
We're not talking about that.
Hold on. How many times have you played?
Over under 3.
I say under.
Don't twist my words.
We need to get Raphael on here.
We're not twisting your words. We're just asking a genuine question.
Let's get some props. Let's get Raphael.
We'll get Raphael in here next week. Get the props on for this.
And I'm going to say this now to all our viewers, all our listeners. If you're betting on JB, you kiss your money goodbye.
If you're still watching, thank you.
I don't lose, and I refuse to lose. I will do whatever it takes to win.
See, Debbie said she prefers to win, but she's not saying,
I don't accept
we're going to
losing.
win. See, she's kind of on the fence. We're all about winning. See,
I don't accept. There's a reason I went.
You guys can be about winning. I've lost 0 games in my life.
You have to understand. In my last
game,
0-0. In my last game,
all
due respect to my elders, my grandfather can't play for his life. He said, and I quote, "I'm picking you because you seem to be good." He could pick any of the 4 players or the 3 players that were there. He picked me. Now he sucked most of the game, and I admit he scored like 6 points, maybe.
Wow.
You let somebody else score. That's your first problem.
What?
You let somebody else score. That's your first problem.
I can't stop him from throwing. He was my teammate after all. I couldn't force him to not throw. If he's going to score points, I'll let him score points. But the point was, he didn't do much.
Yeah, Jake carried him most of the game.
And that's how.
So what you're saying is you could have scored 21 points. You needed help.
He scored 15 out of 21. It's
not that I couldn't score those. Actually, it's not that I couldn't score those points. It's because he threw those points before I could throw again. Therefore, I was not physically able to score that many points without going over and forcing me to lose. That's why that's why that last clip I threw all those away. I landed one on the board. 21, throw the 3 away. I don't need to score more points. I don't want to lose.
Look at that. John is 3-10 against his dad, but he plays like a pro. John, you really need to step up your game if you're 3-10 against somebody.
This is rough.
That's rough. I mean, I know you're a Denver Broncos fan. You're used to losing, but come on, John.
Wow.
Oh, yikes.
Look, if you're going to come on my message board, shots fired.
Hey, I respect it. I'm cool with it. I don't see anything out of order.
John. Much love.
I knew that was coming. But JB, just be prepared to lose. It's okay.
In all seriousness, 21 will be scored
by us.
Does JB understand that you can't go over 21, otherwise you bust, and then the round restarts?
I hope he understands.
Does he understand those rules?
The rules to these games don't matter. I don't lose. I will figure it out.
Also, house rule. If the beanbag hits the grass first, then bounces up on the board, doesn't count.
All right, good.
The grass at all,
I agree.
If it hits simultaneously as it hits the board and the grass, it doesn't count. You don't get the love.
My rule is
grass. No thanks.
My rule is if it lands on the board and just a tiny bit of the corner from when it lands is just touching like a blade of grass, it's a point.
But if it kind of slides up while skimming grass,
absolutely. If it slides, the grass is holding, the ground is physically holding it on the board still, doesn't count. The basic rule is if you ever have to test it, this is a real rule I do use, but I will say it's not perfect, but it's a good rule. Lift the board up. You take all the other bags off that you know are guaranteed. You just pick it up. If the bag slides off, it's no good. If it stays on, I think if it's a 50-50 call, it's a fair point. If
that's why we have John Misick as our referee. He'll be Zoom calling.
Zoom calling. We can't get referees. We need someone to Zoom call in. John, get on the plane, John. Let's go.
your wife can be the ref, right? I mean,
look, John Mizek knows his cornhole games. He knows his cornhole games. He's lost a lot, so he has experience in the playoffs with cornhole games. So I trust his judgment. He's better than the NHL refs. It can't be worse than the NHL referees.
NHL refs are currently the worst in all of sports, period.
Kind of like your guys' cornhole games, but it's okay.
JB, when you lose, you'll understand.
I'm done with this guy. That's all I got. That's all I got for maybe next week. I will.
So now that I muted both of them, it's not going to happen.
And just for that, I'm going to go out of order on JB. Do you have anything to say for yourself, sir?
I think you guys are killer.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I just wanted to make him think like I cared what he had to say. John, it's just you and I here. JB doesn't have anything to say today. He's out of order.
If I do get to choose a WWE wrestler, there's a lot of different ones that I would go with. I mean, a lot of good ones. I could go with Seth Rollins. I could probably go with Cody. I could go with Cody Rhodes. I'm going to call him in. They're down in Jacksonville. I know Alex lives down near Jacksonville. Maybe I'll make a phone call and he could try and get Cody Rhodes, and then we'll get Cody Rhodes up there as my professional wrestler. We all get one.
Professional wrestlers?
Yes, just like I said for the NFL. If I need to, I'll call him, do a special move on JB to take JB out, so that way help us out a little bit if we need it. But we won't need it. But if need be, he's right there. You get one a game. Just like I said in the NFL. So,
See, they're already looking for
Rhodes is my choice.
They can't even do it.
Don't say we. John. I am not looking for ways.
You don't have to. You don't have to choose a professional wrestler, but as we said in the NFL, it's your option. So I'm gonna make sure I take up on that option.
Already looking for ways to win without the game.
John, if I'm calling anybody, right now I'm calling the Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas. Well, that's not a professional wrestler. Maybe they wrestle. Maybe they wrestle in their mental institution.
I didn't say that I am calling a professional wrestler. I just said if I'm calling anybody, period, Savannah Bananas, baby.
Maybe one of them is dressed like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura whenever he was, in the tutu.
John,
It's going off the tracks, I know.
You are taking this conversation places I did not expect it to go.
So by next week, I expect we'll come up with a date for you guys to lose.
It's fine. I expect footage from at least one of you.
Because I'm not giving you guys footage of a game I don't play.
What about Debbie?
Just win.
What about Debbie? We want some footage of what Debbie does when she throws. How about that?
I'd be okay with that. I'd be with
Debbie.
Any of
if you're still listening, what do you think?
Guys are so worried about footage of a game nobody plays. We're just gonna win. Winners win.
We need to see what we're up against.
As far as I'm concerned,
you saw what you're up against.
JB is going to start throwing them overhand and just praying it goes in.
You can't throw it overhand.
I know.
It works.
He doesn't know the rules, though.
I think he's getting into something that he can't handle. And if he loses, he can eat a well-done burger since he doesn't like them.
That's a mean punishment. But I'm okay with it.
Feed him one of my famous well-done burgers if he loses. When he loses.
When he loses, that's correct.
John
to me, I think that's a reward, but you guys seem to think it's a punishment. So
that's a punishment.
Debbie. We're ready for a video of what you can do in cornhole. I'll make sure I send out my video in the next couple weeks.
Couple weeks? I'm hoping by next week I can get some footage of you gentlemen.
Look, I have to make sure I get the rust off before I show footage.
Just remember, Jake, when it's all said and done, your partner is well done.
That's
all I'm going to say.
He's the yin to my yang in this case. He's the well done, the weird man. I'm the medium rare, the right way.
You're going to have the well done.
That's fine.
You're going to have the well done. Just understand
I'll have the well done on my team. But when it comes to eating, that's you, my friend, not me.
Nope.
I got the.
I'm going to prepare your burger.
I got the dub in my pocket right here. Pull Jameis Winston. Give me the dub.
I am going to prepare your burger personally.
You do that.
John, you too.
And you'll make it medium rare, and I will love every bit of it.
Nope.
All right. Anything else, guys?
No, I think good. That that's it for me.
I think the show's devolved into enough madness, and I think I can say for all of us, we're out of order a little bit, just a little bit. All right, JB, I'll start with you. Where can they find you?
JB _ the program on Believe, NFL Carousel, covering the Charges, NBA Carousel, which I produce. We're coming to the Final Four here. Going to be the final soon. Make sure you watch them Monday night, Sideline Sports. And beating John and Jake in every sport possible. But first, corn. What is it? Corn checks thing or something?
Cornholio.
This guy,
the great Cornholio. That's what it is. All right, John. Where can they find you?
Just like I challenged Eric Wilson to a game of hockey, 1 foot. I have my stick ready here, and I will beat him, and I'll beat any of you in hockey.
Invite me to that. I'd love to play.
I'll beat any of you in hockey, 1 foot with a ball. We all bring our own sticks. I'll beat any of you.
I'm going to say this right now.
Any of you.
The reason I will kill you is because I'm considerably larger than you, and I will check you into the boards into tomorrow and next week.
That's exactly what Eric said.
Easy.
That's what Eric said to me, but you also got to remember I'm very quick, so
John, whenever I played hockey, I played on defense, so I've dealt with your
which means before. You can't score.
You're right, I can't score.
You got to be able to score to win the game.
But if I can beat you up and stop you from playing, I think I can score on the goalie enough times to make it work.
We'll see about that. Anyway, I'll beat you on hockey. Anyway, find me at Cardiac Cane, where I write all my Carolina Hurricanes article on Fansided. Check out Fansided. Find me on Twitter, BlueHawks13. You can find me on the NFL Carousel covering the Ravens, NBA Carousel covering best team in the league, the Miami Heat. And
that's why they're out of the playoffs.
You can find me just about, and here's Sideline Sports, the most important place with the most important face. How about you, Jake?
John, I got one thing before I get to that. To say you're the most important face.
Most important place.
Most important place, I agree. The most
That's
important
what he did
face,
say.
You're out of order. You're out of order, buddy.
If he said face, I just ignore him.
I agree, but and the fact that you think the Heat are the best team, out of order. Anyway, you guys can find me here most importantly on Sideline Sports.
Contest.
All
right.
I got a feeling
Ben Simmons. We'll beat you, Ben Simmons.
You guys can find me here on Sideline Sports. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My Twitter is at Jake_Malik, and that's basically where you can find me everywhere. And more importantly, you can find Sideline Sports on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and Twitter at Sideline Sport 1, YouTube, Facebook, which is just Sideline Sports. Wherever you get podcasts, where you have social media, whatever it is, we are there. I guarantee it. So that's where you can find us. And more importantly, you can find myself and John absolutely obliterating JB and Debbie in cornhole. Even though because JB doesn't even know how to play. He barely knows what the game is, let alone how to play. This is a guy that went 4-0, never lost. I'm like LeVar Ball. Undefeated, never lost. And I'm not going to start anytime
Don't forget,
soon.
I'm also on the Sports Arena Monday and Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with Eric Wilson, Alex Fleming, Megan Price, Tyree, and Michael Cartenuto. All fantastic folks.
You guys have a homework assignment for 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, I want nicknames for players, changing their names.
Okay. I can do that. I already got one right off the top of my head.
I'll give you an assignment. Who would you think is the best cornhole players that you could choose lineup-wise? You get 4 cornhole players. You get 2 players and then 2 substitutes that you could pull from the NFL. 4 cornhole players is the best that you could pull. It could be Mahomes. It could be a defensive end. Whoever you want, tell me next week. I'm curious who you think would be the best cornhole players in the NFL. Who you think are. So who do you think is the best? I mean, maybe Patrick Mahomes is good. Maybe he sucks.
Based on those State Farm commercials, he looks like he's pretty good.
I'd like to face him in a game, by the way. I think I'd beat him.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that's it for us. So everybody have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
You're out of order.